If you've ever been on Southview, then you might notice, if you look real close, that there's a couple spots with these crosswalks that seem pretty faded. And the strange thing about them is that there's absolutely no curb cuts to make it actually easy to get on there. And that's of course because the city didn't build these. These were done allegedly a number of years ago, allegedly by the Urbanism Club here at the University of Michigan, simply in an effort to make these popular crossings a bit safer and for cars to actually stop there. And you see, they don't quite do that today, but back in the day, when they were fully visible, even buses would stop for pedestrians at these places, assuming that these were real crosswalks. And this makes for a case of local guerrilla planning or tactical urbanism.
And it's the act of making temporary changes in a community to encourage the government to install a permanent fix.
The first instance of tactical urbanism in the city was homemade bollards installed this spring on 12th and Illinois at the I-65 on-ramp.
It is far from the first time that any sort of infrastructure put in place by the government has been fixed in some capacity by a concerned citizen.
The traffic sign went months before anyone realized it was bogus.
I want it to be perfect.
The sign lasted 8 years. Caltrans loved it, eventually upgrading it with this similar design.
That was the idea of the entire project, that you could make the world a better place without any accolades.
Why here? Who cares about this space? Who goes here? Who goes to school here? Who lives here?
It's just students who care about the life and health of our cities.
Next we have elections.
I'm Gabe Grossman. I'm the VP of Outreach at Urbanism Club. We think that, you should, just as a basic human, have access to community, to food, to water, without needing to purchase a $20,000 piece of metal.
How do you choose where to do it?
Well, we like to highlight locations where it's necessary, mainly based off of students' input. Especially places where cars are, moving without disregard for the pedestrians.
So there was something planned recently. I heard that something went.
Well.
Can you say it? If not, that's okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to improving pedestrian infrastructure, specifically creating more crosswalks in places where people are already crossing. If a cop were to show up during that time, they would have every right to arrest you and put you in jail for painting a crosswalk. And I think that concept is ridiculous.
So it's illegal. It's counting as vandalism today. What if I told you that there are places where it is legal? Do you know about these places, or is that a surprise?
I mean, no, I'd never heard of these places. It is a pleasant surprise. I'd hope that some cities would have the courage to change that and make it legal to improve infrastructure.
Yeah, so Indianapolis, interestingly, have not exactly legalized it in the way that we're familiar with, but basically
These projects are legal through the city's tactical urbanism program.
The sidewalk here is pretty tight. It's uncomfortable when you're walking by. We have a lot of cars.
It's why Dakota Palicki and the Fountain Square Neighborhood Association are looking to make it a little easier. Just this week, the group secured funding from the city to start a tactical urbanism project.
Yep, it's not only legal, it's formalized into a piloting system. Now, the city can say no, but the point is that changes can be done by local community organizations who take charge. And with the 50-50 funding split, it showcases the city's interest in letting people decide what needs changed where, what isn't working, what's actually endangering people. This method empowers these coalitions and gives them agency over their own built environment.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so that's a real thing that happens.
Yeah, I really wish, Ann Arbor would implement such a thing, because as of right now, there is no real mechanism to quickly implement these solutions, because we are here for 4 years, and I don't really want this crosswalk to be painted in 10 years.
But shouldn't the city be doing that kind of analysis anyway all the time? Yes, they should. It's the government's job to take stock of places they administer and make improvements for the good of all, especially with a focus on equity. But a decent stopgap between that and only places where those who have the time and money to improve things is the semi-endorsement method. People care everywhere. If the barrier to entry for doing change is reduced, more places will have access to improvements.